book?
Well, I suppose firstly my work as a family lawyer, I see the damage that divorce can do to children, and then I went through it myself, and as a co-parent to then a 1-year-old, I thought we've got to do this different. We know that a child's experience of their parents' divorce, it largely impacts their future, you know, their adult relationships, their marriage. So I wanted to put together a roadmap to do it better.
Okay, in your experience, what do you find is the biggest issue when dealing with co-parenting?
High conflict. I think the emotion, the grief, the anger, that comes out, and, you know, the communication between parents. And I say we've got to do this more politely, more respectfully. So have in the forefront of your mind, would my child be proud of me with what I'm saying? And put Yeah, look, I wrote the book because I really wanted to create a roadmap for parents who also lie awake at night saying, what happens now? How do I raise my kids across 2 homes, you know, without ruining them? So my goal is to change the culture around separation and divorce. The book really tries to shift that notion away from chaos and blame and instead help families reframe it, you know, new family, new rules. I want kids to, you know, grow up saying my parents separated, but they always put me first. So the book really gives families practical tools for dealing with separation and co-parenting.
Yeah, it's
For
also
you.
important.
I think for me, I'm both a co-parent myself, so I've been through it, and then I'm also a family lawyer. So for me, I thought there's nothing out there to really guide you through the reality and the hard part of co-parenting. We know what the law says, we know what lawyers say, but what do we actually do when we first separate and we're faced with this challenge of we have kids, how on earth do we get on now and communicate and work together for the sake of our kids?
Yeah. What are some things that parents can tell their kids when they are begging them, please stay together, don't do this, don't break up?
And it's so common, isn't it? I mean, the
Yeah.
reality is I think we need to feel their pain.
Realistically, when you divorce or separate, it's not something that it just happens overnight. It takes time, and co-parenting certainly takes time. I think we need to remember immediately when we separate that every decision we make, every action we take in our communication, keep your child at the centre of that decision. They didn't choose this, they didn't choose to live in a separated family, so all our decisions and our behaviour should be centred around them. So I think that's number one.
Okay, so let's be honest, separations can indeed be and often are messy. So what's the best way to protect a child?
Keep them out of it. I mean, if you've got a kid who's going through your phone, don't let them scroll, don't let them see angry text messages, and don't speak negatively about their other co-parent in front of them.
In their presence,
Don't use them as a messenger. They don't want to hear how bad their parent is. They don't want to hear about why is a dad or mum
With
being
this,
child.
why are parents choosing a bird-nest separation or divorce, Gabriella?
I think it's become really popular in the recent years, you know, especially amongst parents who have seen it in media, in magazines, on Instagram, and they really want to brand themselves as progressive or what we would call conscious co-parents. It's a modern trend, but the reality is it's a lot more complicated. Children can suffer emotionally when they see their parents coming back and forth, and that's something we need to think about when we're making decisions like this.
Well, of course, and I want to dive into that and talk more about that. I mean, what is the emotional impact of bird nesting on children? What have you seen, Gabriella?
Certainly. I mean, one of the biggest problems is the message it sends to kids. I mean, imagine being 8 years old.
Co-parenting can actually take place.
Absolutely. I mean, don't expect forgiveness right away. It's not your ex's job to make the co-parenting easier for you after what happened. I think what you need to do is make things easier by being consistent and respectful and taking full responsibility. That is so important. You know, turn up on time, follow through with parenting arrangements, don't engage in those power struggles. It's about showing your co-parent that you are committed to your child, that you're committed to peaceful co-parenting.
And should the child have figured out, you know, what the parent had done, you say don't force closeness. So just kind of be a pillar of stability and allow the child to make their own decisions.
Yeah, I think you've just got to keep encouraging, right? It's so important to encourage that
School
meaningful.
seasons sometimes turn little things into big co-parenting challenges.
It can cause so much stress for a child, particularly when they know they're caught in the middle of conflict between their parents. And the worst thing can be going back to school and knowing your parents are still arguing about drop-offs, about who's going to keep the school bag, the training shoes, who's going to communicate at a parent-teacher meeting. So it's so important that parents get on the same page and have a plan for their child so they're not starting a new school year with that added stress.
Yes, and like you said, it requires a lot of communication between both parents. And parent-teacher meetings, they don't have to be awkward, hopefully. So what's your golden rule for handling parent-teacher meetings when co-parenting?
Yeah, I always tell parents try and decide how you're going to handle things before you even go in. Have a chat, communicate, you know, take that